What's happening, folks? It is getting to be that wonderful time of the year where rifle seasons are starting to kick off. Some of your early elk seasons have already gone. Some of your mule deer seasons, Coues deer seasons, even your Midwest whitetail seasons are really close to happening. And one of the big things that people ask is, how do I zero my rifle correctly? Well, that's what we're going to work on today. Now, obviously, we spend a ton of time in the field, whether it be up on a mountain glassing or in a stand, and when it all comes down to crunch time, we want to put those rounds on target accurately, and this is where it all starts, that zero. Now, I've seen a lot of crazy myths on how people do their zeros and stuff. I'm going to show you how I do mine, and I think it's probably the most effective way. Now, how I start is bore sight. I don't like to just throw a round out there and have my buddy go, oh, I think you were like 3 feet high. So you don't need one of those fancy laser bore sighters. What I do, in the comfort of my own home, so I'm not doing it out here in the sun, is I will just remove that bolt. You're going to get that rifle as steady as possible on a target about 25, 30 yards away. If you got a long enough hallway, you can do it there. If not, you're probably going to have to step outside, do it in your backyard. But you're just going to look down this barrel right here with that bolt removed and get that bore right on a target. Now from there, you're going to look through your scope and you're going to adjust it so that your scope is as close as possible to what that bore is looking at. Now, it's not going to be perfect, but it's probably going to get you on paper at 100 yards, and that's where I like to start. Now, I've seen a lot of crazy things on whether you should do 100, 200, 300 yard zero, whatever the case may be. I'm going to tell you why I do 100 yard zero. Now, as hunters, obviously, we try and get as close as possible to our game, and that's because it's an easier shot. And I don't know why we would do any different for zero in this rifle. You want your zero to be precise. You want it to be as close to perfect as you can get. And to me, if you move it in from that 200 to 100, you're going to take out a lot of environmental factors and your poor form and things like that, and really get that zero as close as possible to what it needs to be. So that's why I choose 100 yard zero. For most of my shots, I'm going to have to dial dope anyway. So I would rather have my zero be as accurate as possible versus being able to dial a little bit less dope. So kind of talking about doing it the right way, if you can, what is suggested is put a couple of different bullets through this rifle. Now, a lot of people run out, grab their Remington Core-Lock that their grandpa shot, and call it a day at that. But if you're really looking for the most out of your rifle, throw a couple of different rounds. I got 3 different bullets, 2 Bergers and a Hornady that I'm going to throw through my 26 Nosler and see which one my rifle likes the best, because that is going to give me the best performance out of this gun. For a lot of us, again, we spend tons of time in the field and tons of money on gear, everything like that, and then we miss these crucial steps in getting us to the actual successful tag out process and a perfect rifle. So I'm going to jump behind the gun, and then we're going to talk some more on kind of how I go about it. All right, guys, so for me, consistency is key. And to do that, I'm going to start with some real basic stuff. I'm going to use my laser rangefinder to make sure I'm exactly 100 yards, not 99, not 101, 100 on the dot. And that's what I did here. From there, I'm going to obviously use a shooting platform. This is a Caldwell 7 Rest, I believe. It's not amazing. It's not a lead sled or anything like that. I think you can do better with bags. But this is what I had available to me today, so that's what we're going to roll with. It should still give us a real good zero, and then I'm going to go shooting later on in the week again and really confirm that. But anything that's going to give you a nice steady shooting platform is what you're looking at, because you want to take as much of your error out of this as possible and make it purely about the rifle. Now from there, I try and replicate how I'm going to shoot in my actual hunting situation. For me, I try and wear these muffs as much as possible during an actual shot, so that's why I'm going to use them when I'm zeroing, so that I can get behind it, good cheek weld, everything that I would do with these muffs, hat, sunglasses, everything that I would normally do in a hunting situation. So obviously we got our target out there. I'm gonna move it around until she's on there. I got a couple of different targets out there so I can throw all 3 rounds and really get, again, what my rifle likes. So we're going to dial it in on round number 1, which is 140 grain Berger Elite Hunters, and go from there. Alright, so obviously that was round number 1. What I like to do is shoot 3-shot groups with each round of ammo. Again, each bullet is going to perform a little bit different in this particular rifle. Every rifle is a little bit different. A different Christensen Arms Ridgeline might like a completely different rifle than mine likes. The one thing I'll touch on is barrel break-in. I believe Christensen Arms recommends 50 rounds for this barrel to be broken. 50 rounds of 26 Nosler is crazy expensive, and I don't know that's something I can recommend for you guys. It's something to probably keep in mind and do the break-in period as you go, but to say that you're going to do 50 rounds before deciding what your ammo is, man, that's really hard for me to recommend, especially if you're looking at a budget and whether you're going to fire those 50 rounds or go buy a tag. Again, my suggestion's always going to be go buy that tag. So the next big thing is cold bore shots. Cold bore shots are obviously what we're taking while we're hunting. No rounds have been through this rifle, so I like to do completely cold bore shots. It takes a little bit of extra time, but every shot I take, I'll probably wait 3 to 5 minutes and just kind of let this bore cool down so that, again, I'm not chasing that wandering zero as my bore heats up. So an easy way to check your bore, just touch it. This one's pretty cool. Obviously it's a carbon barrel, so it's going to dissipate the heat a little bit differently, but for me to be able to touch it right at the throat without any real issues is a good sign. So I'm going to send another round, and we're going to do this another 7 times. Probably going to take me about 35 minutes to do, and then we'll go take a look at what this rifle likes the best. Alright guys, so like I said, I'm not going to make you sit through the entire barrel cool down and working through rounds and stuff, but that's kind of how I sight in my rifle. It takes a little bit of time letting the barrel cool, checking different bullets, stuff like that, but it's really going to give you the most accurate rifle. Now, again, take some time. What I do is I just bring some other guns, whether it be my duty handgun, run a couple of drills in between, sight in a different rifle. There's a lot of different options that you can do to make this whole range day fun, but it's going to give you the most accurate possible rifle. My rifle ended up liking Berger 140 grain VLDs. This last round was 100% me. I ended up just shooting off of a bipod for this, but we were looking definitely in the MOA, sub MOA at 100 yards, and I'll take that any day of the week. Like I said, I'm gonna come out shooting later with a friend, and I'll bring a bag out, really confirm that zero, really dial it in nice and fine. But from there, it's going to be a tack driver as far out as my dope will let me go. So that zero is really what's going to get you an accurate hunting rifle, and it's really important that you do the basics and all the finer details also really accurately so that you can get the most accurate rifle possible for you. I hope this helps. I hope it lets you get a little bit more accuracy and performance out of your rifle. And I hope it helps you be successful this fall. If it does, make sure, let us know. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to see some pictures. Maybe even feature you guys in a story or something. Now, if this helped, do me a favor, jump on down, hit that subscribe button. It would do us a huge favor, and we would love to see you guys back. But until next time, I'm Matt with Deer and Donuts. Goodbye.